Welcome to Sinful's Horror Stories. Sit back, relax, stay sinful. I was at home alone in my previous apartment, in a not-so-great neighborhood. My apartment was on the ground level and my bedroom window faced a back alley. A dumpster sat less than 2 car lengths away, where homeless people often rummaged. Just before dawn one morning, I heard a tapping at my window. My back was to the window and my eyes were now wide open. It was still dark outside. I sleep with my lamp on and my worn-out vertical blinds were missing a slat, causing a 6-inch gap. So I knew that whoever or whatever the source of the tapping could see me lying in bed plain as day. The tapping was brief, maybe 5 or 6 taps. So I spent the next 5 seconds or so frozen, bizarrely trying to convince myself it was something or anything else other than a person watching me and tapping on my window. Maybe it was an animal, but then came more tapping. Now I was faced with the terrifying reality that someone had been watching me through my window in the dark for God knows how long, and now decided to tap on my window. Had one of the homeless people become aggressive during their dumpster dive? Something told me that nothing good would come from turning around and looking out that window. If he got me to look at him, what then? Remember, my back was to the man, so I sat up slowly, rubbing my eyes and pretending I was too groggy to hear him. I stood up and hazily made my way out of my bedroom, as though I was going to the restroom or something. Once I was out of his sight, I ran to the phone to dial 911, considering whether to forget any embarrassment of being in my t-shirt and underwear, and bolt out of my front door, which was out of sight from the intruder. I wasn't sure I could outrun whoever it was, or whether anyone would help me if I couldn't. Before I could make a decision, I heard a loud pop of my window being pried open. I thought my heart would jump from my chest. At the same time, I could hear my upstairs neighbor Mike descending down the stairs. I opened my door a few inches and peeked out to ask him for his help. Mike was a large man, and I'd heard he was trained in martial arts of some sort. He didn't hesitate to respond, hustling to the back of my apartment to see what was going on. Within a few seconds, I heard rumbling and someone being thrown against the wall into the bushes. A few moments later, Mike came around to my front door, telling me not to worry about seeing that man again. He'd beaten him up pretty badly. I wanted to believe Mike that the would-be intruder was maybe dumpster diving, but that he would hopefully never venture this way again. But it wasn't a homeless person. According to Mike, when the guy escaped, he ran to the front of my building, hopped into a red sports car, and sped off. My neighborhood wasn't a red sports car kind of place. The police later told me that the intruder was likely someone who'd seen me out somewhere and followed me home to find out where I lived. To Mr. Window Tapper, I still wonder what you would have done if you'd gotten inside before Mike caught you. I wonder if you still follow me. And because of that, I often find myself wishing that Mike had put an end to you. If you've found out where I now live, let's not meet again. Story number 2. A few months ago, my parents decided to go on holiday together for 2 days. My brother and I were fine with being home alone, and we didn't want our grandparents to babysit us. My parents agreed and they left that Saturday morning. The whole day was just normal. Everything went like it usually does. When it was 11:30 p.m., my brother and I went upstairs to sleep. I put out the lights and locked the windows and doors. Everything still normal as usual. At about 2 a.m., I woke up to the sound of my dogs loudly barking. They do this very often, because of the neighbor's cat walking around our house. I thought nothing of it and went back to sleep. Usually the dogs stop barking in about 5 minutes, but they never stopped. I thought nothing of it and went back to sleep. I got out of bed eventually and checked on my brother. He was still sleeping. I decided not to wake him up and walked downstairs to check things out myself. When I went downstairs, my dogs were barking towards the large kitchen window. This wasn't weird since a cat walks in our garden a lot too. I put a light on and walked around the kitchen to see if something was off, yet everything seemed fine. I then checked to see if my dogs were in pain or something, and they were not. I looked outside to see if the cat was walking around. The cat was nowhere in sight. This made me feel very uneasy. After this, I didn't feel like sleeping anymore, so I decided to sit down at the dinner table to watch some YouTube and chill out for a while. After about 10 minutes, I started to feel uneasy again. I had this odd feeling of being watched from the window. I decided it was better to shut the lights off and go back upstairs. Because I didn't feel safe, I grabbed a kitchen knife to protect myself if anything was about to happen. When I went upstairs, I checked my brother again. He was still safe and asleep. I sat down in our hallway so I could hear the things downstairs. After a while, my dog started barking again. At this point, I was very scared and I started crying. I decided to call the police and then walk downstairs. The police told me they would be here in 15 minutes. I made my way back downstairs as silently as possible. When I got into our hallway downstairs, I noticed that the light by our front door was on. This only goes on when people walk by, but I was stupid and shrugged it off as being the neighbor's cat. When I got back into the kitchen, my dog started barking. I turned the lights on and sat down again. Not a minute after I sat down, I noticed movement in our garden behind the large window. I froze. I couldn't move. My dog started barking like crazy because they could see the movement too. A large person was moving slowly towards the door. I still had the knife, but I am 15 and petite. This person looked a lot bigger than me, and I surely couldn't win a fight against him. He had to have seen me because he started moving faster towards the door. Fortunately, at this point, the police arrived. They knocked on the front door and I sprinted towards the door and let them in. The man most likely ran away because when the police investigated the backyard, there was no trace of him. Later, with the help of a police dog, the man was arrested and charged for attempted burglary. He apparently was arrested a few years before because of an attempted assault. My brother and I didn't get hurt and everything turned out fine, but I'm still scared to stay home alone. To the crazy man that tried to break into our house at night, let's not meet. Story number 3. For a little context, I just recently moved and live by myself for the first time. I live in a trailer because it's very cheap, but the area is a little on the sketchy side. I've been here for a month and nothing too strange has happened. Ever since I moved in, I keep hearing strange sounds around my home. Sounds like someone's creeping around near the not-so-thick walls of the trailer. There are a lot of stray cats around the area, so I pretty much come to ignore them, chalking it up to cats wandering around. Lately, I keep hearing sounds near the bathroom window. It almost sounds like someone's dragging a stick along the side of the wall outside. I have blackout curtains on every window, and the blinds are always closed. But the bathroom only has a sheer white curtain, and the window is that mottled textured glass that gives it a mosaic view if you look in. I'm equal parts dumb and cowardly, so I never peep out of my windows when I hear these weird noises. About a week ago, someone started banging on my door, and this was banging frantically. This is where me being a dumbass factors in. I debate answering the door, but then the banging suddenly stops. My stupid curiosity gets the better of me, and I open the door to a skinny man in dark clothing. It's 7 p.m. and the sun is almost completely set, so I can't make out his features. He's just standing there, turned back looking at me. I ask, "Do you need something?" He stared in my direction for a solid 10 seconds, and then just walked a few unsteady steps away. Then he turned back and looked at me and pointed up at the sky, wordlessly. He then turned his head up at the sky and stared up for a while. He then gave me one last look, turned away and meandered unsteadily down the unlit street. I closed and locked my front door, confused by the encounter. I continued hearing the weird sounds outside my home, and actually started trying to glimpse through the sides of the curtains to find the cause. But still not courageous enough to actually draw them back and look right outside. Just about an hour ago, I heard the strange noise again in my bathroom, and then listened to it slowly travel to my bedroom window. My bathroom is connected to my room. The sound abruptly stopped for a time. Then I heard it very loud scrape along the wall to the bathroom, and then it was gone again. It's actually starting to freak me out, but of course it could just be the cats, and I could be overreacting. So strange man who I saw outside my home, who might be making these weird noises around my house. Let's never meet again. Thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content. I hope everyone had a wonderful week and has amazing and fun plans for the weekend. If you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me at Sinful Savant on Twitter. Email your true scary stories to thesinfulsavant@gmail.com. And you know how the old saying goes. Till we meet again, stay sinful.